What is up, everybody? Happy Saturday. Welcome to Shawn's Riff Time Machine. This week, we're going to talk about pure, beautiful American death metal. Before I get into that, I kind of want to show you guys this. This is a new acquisition for me. This is a early 2000s BC Rich Ironbird Platinum. It's a lower end model from BC Rich. It's a shape that I've loved for a really long time, and I've had my eye out for one of these for quite a while, and found this one on eBay for a song, and was stoked to be able to get it. BC Rich was, of course, a classic 80s electric guitar manufacturer. They're kind of a shell of their former selves. And right now, they really don't have very many offerings. They have a line of higher end import models, and of course their custom shop, but they don't really do much else. So these are getting harder to find, and they're becoming pretty desirable. But I put a little bit of time and resources into this, and it sounds and plays pretty well for what it is. Kind of a lower entry level guitar, but sounds pretty awesome. So I'm stoked to have that. And this is fitting for what we're going to talk about today, because BC Rich, and specifically the Ironbird, has kind of a place in death metal history, as a few of the pioneering guitar players, both the Hoffman brothers from Deicide, along with Trey from Morbid Angel, played Ironbirds, kind of made them famous. So stoked to have this. Death metal is a natural evolution from American thrash. So after Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer, the next evolution was into death metal, which is similar, but amped up a little bit higher. So starting with the vocals, the vocals went more monstery, guttural, and growly sounding. A lot of screaming. That's not to say that thrash didn't have some screamy elements to it, but death metal kind of introduced the whole harsh vocal style that's prevalent among the the heavy music today. Guitar playing was just faster, more intricate. I'll talk more about that in a sec, but the drumming is also something that's really special with death metal. I think that's pretty much where the blast beat came from. On the blast beat is 16th notes played at a high BPM, high speed, either simultaneously across the hi-hat, snare, and bass drum, like that, or alternating between the snare and the bass drum, so it goes. And so played at really high speeds. It's a hardcore, really heavy drum beat, and a lot of early death metal bands kind of incorporated that into their music. So American death metal pretty much started with the band Death, Chuck Schuldiner and the band Death out of Florida. The phrase actually was coined by a different band called Possessed on their album Seven Churches. They had a song called Death Metal. A lot of people call them the founders of death metal, but they sound like kind of an offshoot of Slayer to me. It's still, I don't know, it's not quite death metal yet. It's more thrash, but Death was proper death metal. So it happened in the Tampa Bay area in Florida. You had Obituary and Deicide and Morbid Angel. Those were some of the pioneering death metal bands. The band I'm going to talk about today is a transplant from Buffalo. So they were born and bred in Buffalo and then moved down to Florida to record, and then just sort of stuck around with that scene, and that is Cannibal Corpse. Cannibal Corpse is probably the most famous death metal band out there. They're known primarily for their shock value. Their songs are all about gore, violence. It's kind of extreme music. Some notorious album art covers that are censored in many places in the world, or at least were for a long time. Their bass player, his name's Alex Webster. He's one of the best bass players that's ever been. He was asked one time about the imagery and song content. You know, why does Cannibal Corpse use this kind of thing with their music? And he just said, well, look, this is death metal, and if we sang about bunnies and butterflies, it wouldn't fit. So the music is intense, and the subject matter is also intense. You know, we don't actively participate in this kind of thing, but it's, you know, for the same people who like slasher films, you can get that in song form with Cannibal Corpse. I wasn't a big fan of death metal, or Cannibal Corpse specifically, the first time I heard it, because it was pretty extreme. The vocals are indecipherable, and at least to new ears. And I didn't understand why anybody would like that or do harsh vocals. So it took a while to come around to them. But because of gateway bands like In Flames and Soilwork and some of those others, I was able to get a lot more comfortable with harsh vocals and circled back around to Cannibal Corpse. So yeah, they still play. They're a phenomenal live band, extremely heavy. So I've seen Cannibal Corpse a few times, and every time you see them, you leave satisfied. Like those guys give it their all, and they're old dudes. One of their claims to fame is from the movie Ace Ventura. They were in the first Ace Ventura. There's a part of the movie where Ace goes into this concert and it's Cannibal Corpse playing. And it's just, I don't know, it's 30 seconds of the track, but he comes waltzing in there and it's going on in the background. And that actually was a pretty big bump for them and gave them a lot of recognition. They got to be in Ace Ventura and probably was one of the opening doors for that kind of music to introduce it to the masses. If it didn't get fans, it at least raised some eyebrows. So the song I'm going to play today is Cannibal Corpse anthem, The Closer. This is Hammer Smashed Face. Yeah. And so the current vocalist, his name is George Fisher. He always introduces it like this, so I'm going to do it like he does. He goes, Hammer Smashed Face.